This is Toxic Treatment on Reaper 4 Skulls. So this is the last quest in the chain and clearly the most difficult of the chain. Primarily the end fight is very, very hard here. Uh, the one thing we have going for us is that the first four quests can be a lot easier because of various crowd control and such, and we don't have any of that. So we're not going to benefit as much. We have a little bit, but not a lot. So we're not going to benefit. We're not going to. Uh, there's not as much like other groups. Part of the reason why it's tough is there's not much crowd control you can do in that end fight, and so we don't really lose much there because we couldn't do it in the first four. So still, that end fight is really tough. It has a beholder, a bunch of eyes, and a bunch of like eye horrors and other things that spawn eyes when they die. And so it's a really tough fight. And if you add a couple of Red Crown champions and Reapers to the mix, it could easily be a wipe even on Reaper 4 Skull. But we still want to run it on this. A lot of people skip this in their Reaper runs, and we don't. We always like to run it. There's some good loot in here. It's a fun quest.
You arrive at the outskirts of the
So we enjoy it.
after a long trek through the jungle. Now to see if you can convince this wary tribe to part with Fuku's gift. The drow guard looks you up and down, then motions you over. The guard tells you that the drow temple is normally forbidden to outsiders. If you want to get inside, you'll need to seek the favor of the 3 Scarrow elders of the village. The cavern opens out, revealing a clearing that contains a small drow settlement dotted with tents.
And there's a shrine in here. You could just, I guess it's not, maybe it's here later, or there's a shrine somewhere around here. I guess it's maybe this tent. There it is. Just so you're aware of it. And we'll talk to this first elder and do this part first. This is just the order we always do these in.
Says you must pass the Hunter's Trial, which starts in the cave to the east.
So this barrier requires 3 puzzles to be solved. This barrier requires 2 puzzles to be solved. So we solve the sort of concentration puzzles on each side, and then the floor puzzle in there. And the main thing is on that floor puzzle in there is we don't want to pull the lever. Alright, so Chronovir's doing our puzzle. That he did that side. Now he'll do this side. And if, the heroic version of this has me doing the puzzle, so if you're interested in seeing that in more detail, you can look at the heroic version of this quest. But basically the short answer is that it flashes some symbols, and you have to basically press the runes in the same order that they were flashed. Alright, so that's done. And now this puzzle, it's okay. This is real easy. You can solve it down, and so basically, you unlight everything that's, or you just basically you want to light everything above it. So this one, and this one, and then go to the next row and light everything above it, where this is the top. And it just solves itself. Never pull this lever. That lever will just make it hard to solve the puzzle. It turns off one of the. It'll turn off one of the lights, and that makes it harder to solve. And you get enemies. Eventually, you could solve it because it counts the one that's turned off as lit, but it doesn't allow you to unlight the one above it that way. So it's. Gets more and more challenging as you do that. I don't think those things are stunnable. Whoop, whoop. Heavy damage there. Oop, I got my scroll on it somehow. Alright, that thing's doing a lot of damage to me. Let me see if I can... There we go. If something's doing a lot of melee damage, I'll just probably let Chronivere get it with his range. And of course, these can't be CC'd. The way you'd CC these would be with some sort of a webbing type program, I guess. A webbing type spell.
The jungle floor rumbles to life as a massive, shambling mound rises from the muck.
All right, I'm gonna take this shambling mound, and they're gonna get all the trash that spawns. Well, in theory, let's see. I guess I'll work on that as well. We'll all work on that. Whoops, I fell down. And these plants are not evil, so they're generally worse. I'm worse at these than I am at evil enemies. Evil enemies I have my most bonuses against. And we will DDO back.
You can return to the village elder and boast that you've completed the hunter's trial. The Scorrow Elder asks you to find 5 luminous mushrooms in the jungle to the southeast.
Alright, so this part's just find 5 mushrooms, fight a few enemies. The hard part about it is that with all these things obstruct vision.
Growl can be heard drifting through the thick jungle.
There's a frequent spot for mushroom, that's 1. And then we're just going to hang a left here. I always hang to the left. Sometimes there's one, yep, one right there. We'll grab it even though it's not left. This is a dead end. And then we're just going to hang left, and then by doing that, we'll cover all the paths. But you can see the shrubbery, leaves and such get in the way of obscure the vision, and I wouldn't exactly call that a challenge, but it's one of the things that makes this a little harder. And there's been a few people on the forums that have voiced their displeasure about this quest for that reason. I don't think it's that bad, honestly. I think it's, it's not too bad. I mean, I like that the developers are trying to mix it up and try different things. I really like that they do that. And but I also sort of agree with the feedback that it's kind of hard. The vision thing in here is kind of a little bit annoying, so I agree with that as well. But overall, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Bear trap. Might as well get these for the trap bonus, if nothing else. You can see my vision's totally obscured there. But there's a mushroom. So that's mushroom number 3. And it doesn't matter who picks up the mushrooms as long as one of us does. Oh, so we have 4, so we just need one more. Where'd that bear trap go? I can't even, there it is. Alright, and if you just kind of keep going left, we'll eventually find that mushroom, and then since Chronivere has DDO, that'll save us some time on the way out. We'll just be able to DDO back. And sometimes finding my way back is harder than actually finding the mushrooms. Fungus. Alright, we're going to go left. And this guy's always in this intersection. We get to heal the Chronivere. All he's got going for him is that knockdown. He doesn't do much damage. And let's see if Chronivere knows how many hit points he has. Maybe not, because we probably don't get a lot of these enemies, so it may not be unlocked in the monster manual.
The lesson cat falls with a final defiant roar.
Just take a quick look and see if we see it there. Not there. Not there. Oh, there it is. So that's it, and then now Chronivere will throw up a D-door.
You've collected all the luminous mushrooms for the village. Time to deliver them to the...
So Chronivere says that one's not in the monster manual. It's not typed as a lion, so it's not in there. So he's not able to see hit points, but I think it has quite a few hit points, probably a couple 100,000 it seems. Although it doesn't hit hard, so it's, even though it takes a little while to take him down, it's relatively easy fight.
You have earned the favor of the first elder.
I don't think we talked to the first elder, so we better talk to him.
You have found favor.
Alright, now we just have the one more path. We've done 2 of the 3 paths. And the third path is the longest by a little bit. But pretty straightforward.
The Scarrow Elder refuses to help unless you first complete the warrior's trial. Apparently it starts in the cavern to the west.
So I always end up having to fight these. They don't seem to attack me right away, but they eventually do, so as soon as I find them, I just attack them. Dire Charge works, that's good to know. And we gotta run the chest too. Good deal.
ground rumbles, and an umber hulk bursts through the cave floor. Heat and humidity radiate from this passage, making the air thick and stifling. You hear an eerie chirping sound coming from the chamber ahead.
I think that dire charge worked there. I think it was just the animation that made it look like it didn't work, but he was not attacking us. He was just kind of standing there, so I assumed that the dire charge was working. All right, this is a shrine path, I believe. So this is a necessary path to take, even if you get all the Umber Hulks. Oh no, I guess not. I guess this is not the one. All right, no Umber Hulk. And it looks like we've missed a path, although it might just be that it was a short path. So there could be an Umber Hulk here. We just need one more. Looks like we missed a shrine. We'll have to kind of backtrack for that. So for this part, we're going to backtrack and get the one path we missed, which is the shrine path. And so the this is the mandatory path. So next to the shrine is a lever that we have to pull. The two things we have to do here. Perfect. So we got the Umber Hulk here too. Let's see. I want to say my dire charge is working on this guy because he's not really doing any attacking once he did there, but that's because the dire charge were off. So I want to say the dire charge is working pretty good against him. Actually, it looks like, yeah, we got all the Ember Hulks. Nope, 2 more. Never mind. So we need to pull this lever, and then we need to go back and find the other 2 Ember
The
Hulks.
lever is pulled, and the gate blocking the temple entrance opens.
And one of the Ember Hulks might be straight ahead, so we have to do this other path here. And this is
An Umber Hulk erupts
the
from
only
the
way
wall
left. Let me dire charge him. It seems to work. Oh, that didn't work. But the another proc did work. But it's worked on over half the time. Make sure I've got my active type. Couple of remnants. And now there should be, unless we missed a passage, there'll be an Umber Hulk in one of these passages. Looks like the very last passage. I think this is the only one we haven't checked, so by process elimination, it has to be here. Okay. Dire charge seems to be working there. Alright, so now we just have to talk to the Elder and go to the end fight. And, you know, the end fight is the only part about this quest that really concerns me. I mean, I know we can handle it because we've done it a lot of times, but we've never done it with this combo of characters before, and like it's pretty. Usually we have one caster and 2 other characters in the group, so we pretty much always have one caster, you know, for crowd control and some other benefits. This is not a super balanced party, but it does have some balance to it. We have a little bit of crowd control with all of our abilities. And I have the Dire Charge. Chronivere has the Sharati procs, Nerve Venom, and Shiley has the balanced attacks that knocks enemies down. So those, between the 3 of them, those proc quite a bit. But it doesn't work when we're getting overwhelmed by a bunch of enemies, especially if they could save against Dire Charge, because that's the only mass proc.
The smell of smoke fills the air.
Oh, let me get Shiley. Good deal. Yeah, that's that bear. It seems the bears do pretty big criticals. Chronivere also got hit for over 2,000 on a critical. And he has higher fort than me. He has, I think, around 350 fort. So he might need a 400 to be safe from their critical hits here, or a lot of hit points. You know, 3,500, 4,000 hit points. Then, you know, that probably won't be enough to kill you. 1 critical from these bears on R4. But the safest thing is to just keep boosting your fortification if you can. I have a hat with insightful fortification that would get me pretty high up, but if I use it, I can't use my current helmet, which gives me Seeker, helps with my critical damage, and then also gives me +4 to my Dire Charge, which I think is pretty critical for here. Alright, so we are going to try to not DPS this boss too much. Whoop, I did that a little too prematurely. And he's doing his debuff on me. I've got 3 stacks. Alright, yeah, clear this thing fast. Alright. So once we get that
Forces
message,
of
we need to
Zorian
focus on these
energy
eyes
drift through the temple shield.
and don't worry about the boss
Above
at
the
all. The
eye
problem is if we
runs
get the
Frost.
boss, we're gonna need another wave of trash
Barrier
mobs.
of solid
So
light
some
cuts.
groups will just focus on the boss, and then it gets to be a pretty rough. You could say, I mean, you know, we already had one problem. So I'm gonna CC them for now, and then go get Hateful Stare. All right, let me find Shiley and get Shiley
It
up.
seems that chaos magic is fickle. The beholder's
Whoop, I can't because of those guys. Couldn't cast spells, couldn't heal myself. So I'll make another round. Alright, and don't use these pillars as cover. Alright, I'm going to try to get Shiley. There we go. Couple procs on him. So we're going to take this low, and let me get the Didar charge here. That should work pretty good on these guys. Okay, get out of the way of that explosion there. You watch the explosion, it's like a force damage explosion. It's not too terrible. I think we have all the eyes now. I'm just going to do a quick round, make sure. Looks like we're good. So now we're going to DPS the boss, and the second we get the message, we're going to go back after trash again. Oop, where's Shiley? I didn't get Shiley healed. Ah, didn't quite get it in time. I was just a little bit too slow. Yeah, that's because the eyes came. I didn't notice that for some reason. So again, use these as covers. You want to get these eyes. Holy Retribution on one whenever it's off the timer. And try to avoid the Beholder here because, again, that Beholder is just doing a ton. So you see these guys? Kind of soften them up a little. But we want to really get the eyes first. Make sure all the eyes are down. I'm going to get Shiley. Can't because of the anti-magic. Alright, I'm going to Dire Charge. Pass around and get Shiley. There we go. Give him a lay on hands. Alright, so now we're going to get these last enemies. I target myself here so I get my heals going. Alright, so I get this eye horror. Whoop, I got it. I'm dancing. I'm going to use my Harper pin. Seemed a little dangerous. One mistake I've been making is I feel like I've been too hesitant to use my Harper pin, and I've died a few times that I would have lived. So I need to be better about using my Harper pin. Alright, so all the enemies are down now. It's the boss. So kind of funny how that works, is this is a much harder quest than that bear fight, and we did this one fine, and we got our butt handed to us on the in just a simple bear fight in the last
You have
one.
retrieved the vial of the Vulkul's for House Jarasco.
All right, this is a very nice mask. I need that sentient toolkit for sure. That's around the 5th I have, I think. I'm real happy to get another one of those. I don't need it. It's dexterity based, armor piercing, dodge. Awesome item. I'm not dex based, and I use int for my save. So I'm going to pass this to Shiley. He'll probably be happy to get this. I'm going to keep the sentient toolkit. I need those. As many of those as I can get. Really good XP. It took 30 minutes, but it was 4,350 XP before bonuses, so really good XP in that one. And that is Toxic Treatment on Reaper Foreskull.